today. So I'm not
Yeah,
important, is what
perfect.
I'm saying. Not as important as our co-marketing. So
All good, all
partnerships.
good. All right, we are live.
All right.
Let me go and share this out with some folks so they know what's going on. Give me
Yeah.
2 seconds as we
No
get
problem.
started. Boom, boom.
I
But
want to.
hey,
Yeah.
go
Yes.
ahead.
I'm no. It's so funny. I'm curious how many. How much of our time post-pandemic, and when since we've adopted remote work, how much of
Yeah.
our time is spent saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me?" It's
That's every call. Can you see me? Yeah.
yeah, it's across the board in all of our industry in general, any industry.
Mhm.
How much of our time is actually spent? It's got to be hours, weeks out of the year. So yeah,
Exactly. Uh, boom, boom. Hold on, let me just ping this out. AI here joining.
yeah. And if you could just share the Twitter link here, just so
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
perfect. Yes. Here, I'll send in the Telegram chat. Just
That's
ping
great.
that out.
All
Let me
right,
share it with some friendlies. Boom, boom,
love to see it.
boom. Share it with the Safari fam. Let's go. And then I think we'll get started shortly. Boom,
Awesome.
boom, boom, boom. Where are you based, Ryan?
So I am based in the lovely San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Right now it is overcast. We are starting to get June gloom, as they call it, a little bit early. So
Yeah.
it's a little chilly. And then at about 2 o'clock, it becomes recently it's been beautiful out. The clouds burn off, but usually it becomes just an incredibly warm day. So I'm in the what looks like a cave. Uh, what looks
Just a
like
little bit.
I'm banished to a home office in my garage that I built out.
Love
It looks like a cave. It looks like a hostage video.
it.
But no, this is my where I've been banished for when I'm working from home. So
Not bad, not bad.
yeah,
Well, listen, I'm excited for this conversation. I'm ready to go if you are.
yeah, let's
Should we
do it.
dive
Let's
into it?
do it. Yeah, let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it. All right.
Um,
Well, here, let me kick things off. But listen, welcome everyone. This is Chain Reactions, the weekly live stream and perpetual podcast, actually, that we have from the lovely folks here at Myosin.xyz, the Ultimate Marketing Network. Really excited today. We have Ryan, who's the Director of Marketing at GAIA. Full disclosure, GAIA is also a client, and we love what they're doing. But I'm really excited to dive into things
yeah,
because agents have been a really big conversation. Obviously, AI and decentralized AI, particularly, and you guys are obviously doing some really cool stuff. So with that being said, we'd love to throw it to you, Ryan, and just kind of take us through your journey. How'd you get
oh
here
man,
all the way to Ritual, or sorry, all the way
what?
to Gaia? Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
ritual! Wow,
yeah,
right off the bat, that's
yeah.
no. Right off the bat, we're
Yeah.
break. No, I think so. And pardon me if brought to you by Crystal Geyser Water. Um, it's interesting. So I have had it's if I'm a little vague on my journey, it's because it has been quite a journey, and remembering where I started and how to get here. There's some details that are a little fuzzy. But yeah, my name is Ryan. I'm Director of Marketing at Gaia. We are a decentralized infrastructure where we enable people to build, deploy, and earn from intelligent agents and building
Mhm.
their own agents. And so um, my journey started from actually, I started in the entertainment industry. So I started out many, many moons ago as an editor, and then I worked up to as a producer and director for content. And you know, I was working for notable companies pre-pandemic, such as Radical Media. That was where I was in-house production, part of their in-house production team. Then Tele Pictures, which is was a subsidiary of, and still is, I believe, of Warner Brothers, and then officially Warner Brothers, working on a lot of their DC IP and content. And so it was interesting, and again, bringing up the pandemic, we all have that kind of like point where it's like, I was this, but now something happened, and now I'm that. And so I became part of the 30,000 that were laid off during the AT&T merger with Warner Brothers,
Mm.
or then at Discovery. And so that was a little frustrating, and was quite a bummer. And but fortunately, got a call from a Web3 protocol, where they were looking for someone to produce content. And so I said, hey, yeah, let's do that. I came on there, and then I was there for quite a while, up until about a year ago. And I really cut my teeth in the Web3 world, and crypto. I like to say, and as many people will say, hey, I've been in crypto since 2017. When I say that, I had a Coinbase account. I had the general understanding. I had ETH. I had purchased ETH and Bitcoin, and I believe Solana at one point, which I promptly sold as soon as the market tanked like an idiot. So
No,
yeah,
should have kept
I
it.
took some
Yeah.
bad advice. I followed the lead of a superior where I was at the time, who was like, crypto, 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 and they said, just sell it. And I followed the lead because, again, I didn't know better,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and because it was new to me. And boy, am I kicking myself. So life
Hey, but
lessons.
that's how we all got started. And at the end of the day,
Exactly.
by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, because I think what's kind of crazy is, like, I think there's a lot of marketers surprisingly in crypto who, or like just people in general, who I've met people, and I won't name any names, but like at some very big companies like that we would all know, and then you
Mhm.
find out like they don't even have a wallet. And I'm like, how the hell are you like working or
Uh,
marketing or doing UX if you don't actually use the stuff you're talking about? It's kind of crazy.
I found that a lot. I think, and we can, and not to kind of jump around.
Yeah.
Um, I think once there were legitimate projects, or once really there started to be this kind of migration to Web3, to crypto,
Hmm.
to all these various projects. Where a lot of people were from this, I'll say, the
Yeah,
Web
just
2
hop
or
in.
old world. They're just kind of like, they're like, hey, this is new. Let's just dive in.
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, I've worked with many people that didn't have wallets and that were still trying to figure it out, and I was kind of blown away by that.
Insanity.
But also understanding. I think everyone
Yeah.
doesn't is still navigating this world and learning it, but I think there is this kind of failure to kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
actually play with the thing you're marketing with, across the board marketers. And again, I don't blame. I think it's just, again, everyone's kind of learning. It is a little bit of the wild wild west,
Yeah.
and we're all trying to figure it out. So
We're all trying to figure it out. And I think
yeah.
that leads and segues really nicely into the next question, which is really
Mhm.
just, we're talking about crypto, but I think obviously, as I kind of indicated at the beginning of the stream, right? I think everyone's looking for PMF. Everyone's trying to figure
Mhm.
out what's the next thing. And I feel like over the past, 2024, I think agents, AI, especially with
Yes.
the advances in, LLMs and GPT models, you're just like, oh my God, there's a lot here.
Mhm.
And so I think that's a very good question around. So, what are you guys doing at Gaia, right? And how do you
Yeah.
guys describe what you're doing, what problem you guys are solving? Why should someone care? Yeah,
Yeah, what really attracted me to Guy and jumping on was solving this kind of, and kind of offering a different side of things to this
mm,
AI debate. I think there, unfortunately, these larger AI companies, and I don't want to name names, but people interact with them, and they don't understand that they don't own their information, and that they can't monetize their information, that it's kept
hmm
behind. Once you type something in to and try to search for something and get your
yeah,
answer, or however you use these AI tools, you don't own that. Especially IP. I think here's a great example. From the entertainment side of things, is there were someone had uploaded 500 500 of the top screenplays of the biggest films of all time, Godfather,
hmm
everything. You can go across the board, and onto into ChatGPT. And so now they go, well, hey, make me a movie, write me a script that's similar to The Godfather, similar to any Indiana Jones, and now that that IP is now you don't own. They're the original
Yep.
screenwriters, the original studios. They don't own that. They can't control how that IP is used
Yep.
anymore. And so that's like a good example of like that kind of attracted me to it, and that was a problem I wanted to solve. Is like if I'm a
Yep.
creator, I'm able to actually build my IP out, really create agents, licenses, and I'm able to own it without using, without having to use these kind of larger AI companies. So
And so
decentralized AI companies.
I love it. And so then to really bring it down to brass tacks, because I think, when we talk about, I've met a lot of listeners and I've talked to a lot of listeners
Mhm.
and people who either tune in the podcast or sometimes just the live stream they'll stumble across on Twitter. Mix of folks, but I like to always kind of break it down and make it really, really simple, which is like, so what exactly is Gaia in terms of like the decentralized AI stack, like making it really simple?
Mhm.
And how does it stand out versus, earlier, we have had Mikio, who's on the marketing team at Ritual before,
Mhm.
a couple episodes ago, right? We haven't brought Story on yet, but obviously, they're thinking
Yeah,
about a whole
one of our
blockchain just for
partners.
IP.
Yeah,
Yeah. So how do you guys fit into the stack? Like, where are you guys?
we
How should
are.
someone think about you? Yeah.
So I think we are I like to say we're the foundational element, we're the
Mm,
infrastructure, we provide these tools. We're we are the engine, however you want to kind of phrase it, whatever the metaphor is, but that we
yeah.
are the infrastructure that if you want to build an agent, you can use our inference tools,
Mm,
and we're able to, again, provide a necessary element to how you want to build your agent and bring in these story protocol, these other kind of tools that
hmm
fortunately are partners, and we've developed these kind of strategic partnerships with. But really, we are the foundational layers, I like to say, and
mm,
infrastructure. So
got
if
it.
that's
Got
not
it.
clear, if that's not clear, go to GaiaAI.net, and please learn more. But
Let's
I
go.
think we are the I think we are a driving force into and a necessary element for people to build their agents and really expand their creativity and really for
Yeah.
builders to really get started and kind of again build these kind of these tools that that they have been that these AI agents
Yeah.
that they actually want to build. So yeah,
Yes. I'm into it. I'm into it. Well, and actually,
yeah.
I'm gonna go a little. That actually kind of leads me to a totally different question, which I think feels very natural, which is, so when you're looking at agents, right? Like, I think what's been interesting to me is, I don't know, like just being totally honest, right? Like I think over the past year, when I look at agents and I think about what's been built, there's a lot of like financially, obviously like DeFi is a very clear
Mhm,
opportunity space for,
mhm,
automating trading and
yeah,
arbitrage and all these things. There have been kind of like KOL agents,
yeah,
like AXBT and all that. And then virtuals and AI16, they had their moment last year.
yeah.
Then everything crashed and who knows, right? But I'm
Well,
curious about like what, and what now we're so back,
crypto,
right? And
baby.
then it's
No,
so over, and now we're so back, and then it's an up and down.
it
Yeah,
is. Listen,
yeah,
it's a roller
never
coaster
ends.
that it seems fun,
Yeah,
but it is sometimes a nightmare. Just
yeah,
joking.
exactly.
Uh,
But now's a good time, so we're like, please, just like let me know.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, but I guess all that to say is, what are you most excited about when you're seeing people build on Gaia and are building agents in general? Um, are like, what type of agents do you think like we're missing that you want to see
Yeah.
that, yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think kind of stepping back, from the space is like it's sometimes hard to keep up, not for us, but in
Yeah.
general. There's so many every day. There's a new type of agent. There's a new just some sort of like new industry that is going to be. We're learning that agents can kind of plug into there, whether it's financial, whether
hmm
operational, and so on. So, um, I think what I'm really interested in, excited in, is seeing these AI tools go from tools of convenience, where it's like, hey,
hmm
they're not just hey, spell check this, or hey, can you give me,
hmm
all any you can name it, but any kind of like
Yeah.
hey, is this?
Tool.
I always use
Yeah.
it. I always go, hey, I'm writing this really important email or this really important memo. Can you make sure
Yeah.
I'm coherent here? And you drop it into ChatGPT or so on.
Yeah.
Uh, or you're searching for something and you're using Gemini, whatever, that's a tool of convenience. I'm really excited to see people build tools that provide true value to either an industry, to a group of people, to a
Yeah.
personal agent. It's interesting. We did our COO, Shashank. He did we actually went to LA Fashion Week back in, I believe, November, which is had a panel with TikTok creators and TikTok shop and people
Oh.
that were and people that wanted to build their own brand. And while maybe we're not there yet because they're still kind of living in the Web 2 world, it's kind of hard to kind of grasp this concept of not only Web 3 but agents, building these decentralized agents. We did pitch them and say, listen, these are tools that you'll be able to apply to build your brand. Just for instance, not only monetizing certain aspects, building agents that can you can actually monetize, but a personal shopper agent. Very simple. It's understanding a kind of marketing analysis agent. So understanding
Yep.
where's the region that I'm most successful. I'm having our sales are most successful, and then taking all that data and then catering your kind of next campaign or your next product
Yep.
release towards that market. So I think that's where I'm really excited to see these agents come into play. It's to actually help these brands or help individuals actually enhance their life. And again, not just be a
Yep.
tool of convenience there.
How far away do you think we are from that? Because I feel like I'm very excited about that world, but I'm like still
Yeah,
waiting for it, Haven't quite.
yeah.
But people are building things like crazy. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. It's interesting, and again, this is my kind of interpretation, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty again going from the entertainment industry. Now I'm deep. I'm
Mhm.
I'm all in. I'm Web3 now. It's grabbed a hold of me. No, I think it's interesting. We are still in crypto in general and Web3 technology and blockchain technology, right? There's been this kind of just like barrier we haven't crossed yet in terms
Mhm.
of larger adoption, and I
Crossing the
think
chasm, as they used to
crossing the
say, right?
chasm, bridging
Yeah.
that Web 2 to Web 3, or that building that Web 2 to
Yeah.
Web 3 bridge. We're still kind of building that bridge, and
Mm.
I think the industry is moving so fast. There's going to be a point where, and it's happening right now, where
Yeah.
AI, especially these agents, are going to really people are going to have to this kind of larger audience is going to have to start adopting them. We're
Yeah.
getting there. But right now, I think it's just people explaining the value of a lot of these projects
Yeah.
is we're working there, and I think that's a challenge for marketing these projects in general and building
Yeah.
these brands. I will bring up, although one of the protocols I was working with, we were tokenizing real world assets.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just a great example. And we were tokenizing collectibles. Okay, and
Mhm.
then we're working with companies like Rarible, or trying to build
Yeah.
these partnerships with companies like Rarible. Just say, um, but we were going. I think we made the mistake of like going to comic book conventions and going, "Hey,
Hmm.
do this, okay?
Yeah.
Tokenize your asset. There's all this value in there," and it still was kind of like lost on these. There's still
Ah.
like there's still this kind of disconnect in that messaging and
Yeah.
showing the benefits. And so that even some of the DeFi protocols I kind of I worked
Really
with as well.
interesting. That's the type of
There's
insight I'm always looking for.
there's
Yeah.
still this like real world they don't
Mhm.
understand why I would tokenize a watch, even
Mhm.
though hey that they're that why would I do that when I'm already making money with a watch, and I'm a reseller for a
Yeah.
Rolex reseller. Why do I need to do this? I'm already making money this way.
Yeah.
And so there was a little bit of a disconnect, and I think and that's an example of like Web3 in general.
Yeah.
We'll get to that point, but I think that's where the challenge is right now. Why do I want to build an agent?
Yeah.
Why do I want to put the time in to understand this? I think we'll get there, and
Yeah.
we're getting there. But that is my interpretation, my kind of
No, it
my
makes sense.
analyzation of everything as a whole.
When it's so interesting, because if you think about like AI, at least I do, like I think AI is a lot easier for people to understand rather than
Yes.
crypto, right?
Yeah.
It's like crypto is like what, like,
Yeah.
Dogecoin and Bitcoin and
Exactly.
volatility.
Yeah.
But AI, like we've all seen like a billion movies. We've all seen her, and what was
Yeah.
it's a lot more understandable. But I think you're right. It's like, why? What's the agent thing? So
Yeah, I
there's a
think
lot there.
I think again there's and again this is my kind of interpret my kind of how analyzation here. It's people either think it's like, hey, it's going to take my job, or it's
Yeah,
Terminator. It's going to be
right.
Terminator, right? And it's when people think of AI and they're terrified of it,
Yeah,
and that's right now. And so that's kind of a marketer's role and a brand strategist's role in
yeah,
anyone in this space to be like, hey, listen, it's not that. It's actually going to bring incredible value. And
yeah.
let's start, we really should try to take the time to understand the technology that we're building, you know.
Well, and so then digging into that, right? Would love to better understand. You've done a lot of really interesting partnerships. Whether it's ENS, you kind of just talked about, Rarible and others, right?
Yeah.
But I think something about this space, right? It is a pretty tight and small space, so it's
Yeah.
collaboration is so important for us
Yeah.
all to grow. So we'd love to kind
Yeah.
of hear from your end. Like what were some of the most interesting collaborations or partnerships that you've done?
Yeah.
The ones that you're most excited about. Obviously, we all love all of our partners, but
Yeah.
obviously there's some that really come to mind. I'm sure. So curious
Yeah.
what you think about in that sense. Yeah,
Well, I want to clarify too. Previous protocols I mentioned, I brought up
yeah,
some like Rarible and everything. But in terms of Gaia, I think I think we're all kind of figuring out the space, like we said, and there's
yeah,
some really incredible projects. And again, we're kind of a foundational layer. So I think
yeah,
a lot of the partners that we've kind of announced, partnerships that we've announced, and have really just been uh, kind of, we want to make sure that we're all kind of like part of this larger ecosystem, that people who
yeah.
do want to build agents have those kind of have this kind of understanding, and this kind of like can see the actual ecosystem and how to
Hmm.
start with Gaia, build, implement another protocol and so on. So we kind of
Yeah,
want to connect the dots there, and just show people that there are these, that we're able to, again, kind of be this puzzle piece, and these really important piece to build your agent. So I
yeah.
think that's kind of the driving force for a lot of our partnerships, announcements, and so on. So
Got it, got it. Well, and so then let's dive into other elements of the kind of marketing stack, right? So
mhm.
you joined Gaia, I think it was August 24, right? Roughly.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. So I came on. I
yeah,
started with as a creative director, kind of brand strategist,
yeah,
and then kind of it evolved into a larger kind of marketing role
right.
before I took over in about January. So
Got it.
since then, it has been again,
Nonstop.
startup life in crypto.
Yeah,
We're life in the fast lane, but it's been an incredible experience so far, and I really, it's again, I think from the outside, people don't understand the value of what we're building yet, or
yeah.
in terms of mass adoption. But people in the space really see that there is a real need for what we're doing, and it's
Mm.
been great to kind of have this great reception, and really just really positive reception. So yeah, it's really been a great experience so far, guy.
Well, and so then could you kind of break down as much as you can, without giving away all the secret sauce, obviously, like what
Yeah.
has the overall like marketing strategy been or the brand strategy? Like, would have been like, yeah, I mean, just like breaking it down for folks and helping them understand, how have you been positioning Gaia? What has resonated? What have been some of
Mhm.
the more interesting campaigns that you may or may not have run, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, just foundationally, and this is how I approach everything. It's what is the benefit? How's this going to
Hmm.
shape my life? And
Yeah.
really, that's where I start. And I think that's where we've started. Sort of, what is the actual value that we're going to
Hmm.
provide for people? And so, some of the campaigns a lot of our kind of campaigns have been around co-marketing. A lot of the kind of product offerings, for instance,
Hmm.
domains, and why a domain
Yeah.
is important into the larger kind of picture of, and part of building an agent and so on. So it's been interesting, and pardon me if I go on a rant here and don't clearly answer your question. Uh, But it's again, our real focus is just, again, providing the value and showing the benefit of that. And I think as a startup, that is an incredible hurdle for people to, or for startups to actually get over. Everyone has a great idea. If you're fortunate
Yep.
enough to get off the ground and actually have a project, funded, and
Yep.
you're actually building a team and building a brand, that if you don't know who you are, if you don't know who your audience is, but you just have a really great idea, you're gonna flounder. And listen, in Web3, we've seen it time and time
Yep.
again.
A lot of
It's not
rug
to say
pulls.
those, yeah, exactly. And again, it's not to say that those aren't great ideas or great projects, but there's a disconnect between marketing and understanding your brand and brand building. Um, in this space so far. And so that's been taking those lessons, and I've been able to, my marketing folks and I, we've been able to really uh, work on defining our audience, defining our value and benefit, and so on. So hopefully that answered a little bit of your question, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's that has been our focus, and we've been successful in that, and people really understand, again, what we're doing, and what we're building, and how we can see the progression,
Yeah.
and how we're can see actually beyond where we are right now
So
with our
how do you
products.
guys just kind of like double clicking? Because I want to get a bit more
Double
specific,
click away.
right? Like,
Double click
yeah,
away.
like we talk about brand, we talk about positioning,
Mhm.
definitely like within our industry, within crypto, like AI has been a very hot topic. A lot
Mhm.
of people have kind of pivoted. Certainly you guys are building infrastructure layer, but there are also a lot of others who are starting to think about infrastructure layer as well.
Mhm.
So curious how you guys think about positioning and how you've really been able to differentiate yourself as best you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, we go through and, I just make sure I establish dominance, just make sure we're the alpha and no, we've,
It's that easy. Yeah.
it's that easy. Just go in. No, I think what we've been able to do is identify, again, who's our core audience. Right now it's developers, it's people that are
Yeah.
building. And so we've been really just, again, kind of, we've had a great devrel team and great community
Yeah.
ecosystem folks that have been really pushing and kind of understanding who we are, listening to our audience, and just kind of catering our kind of messaging and marketing around that.
Mm.
Again, hopefully, again, double
What have
clicking, you
you
can triple click.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna
again,
I'm gonna keep cooking. So
keep clicking, please.
yeah. So when we talk about like talking to devs and we do like what have you seen anything in particular that's resonating where like what are they looking for right now in terms of
Yeah,
AI
it's
support, I guess, and
yeah.
implementing all this? Yeah.
My interpretation, and kind of like kind of how this top level thing is, just a really kind of ownership. Going back to
Mm.
kind of like what we stand for is like ownership,
Yeah.
being able to build what I want, being able to again monetize, own what I'm building, and so on. And so I think that's really, for builders, that's really key. And not using these kind of centralized AI tools. That I think overall that's really what I see as a driving force, and people kind of adopting and wanting to build with Gaia. I think that that kind of freedom and being a part of this, as we like to say, living knowledge
Yeah.
network, that has been a huge selling point and attractive to a lot of builders and people
Got it.
in
Got it.
Gaia in general. So.
Yeah. Well, and actually, let's go back to kind of like the idea of decentralized AI, right? Because I think
Mhm.
in the past, we've talked about like decentralized IP. We had Nick from Story Protocol on at one point. We were talking about that. Um, but I guess in terms of decentralized AI, like, so what you're saying is basically with Gaia, you can come in and own your own model, I guess,
Mhm.
or like if you could just tell me more, I guess, just so
Yeah, I
help the
think.
folks understand. Yeah.
No, it's okay. You know what? If I'm being vague, it's because, again, my brain is not working. Startup life, baby.
Yeah.
No, I think it's, again, kind of, to kind of reiterate, it's, yeah, again, like ownership of, it's not, there's a censorship issue with
Mhm.
centralized AI. I guess, kind of stepping back, there's these AI tools that they're in a black box that you're
Yeah.
again, the ability there's gatekeepers that can, if
Hmm.
so be it, they want to basically, there's a bias there, there's censorship issues. They can control your data, they own your data. And so I think, again, that's been a big issue for a lot of people, especially in Web3 and crypto. Hey, we want to own everything. We want to,
Yeah.
I think that's, so we are the opposite of that, and I like to say that
Yeah.
we're really, again, providing this. Our kind of uh, mantra is freedom to own and freedom to build, and I think that's kind of
Mm,
where we're going with, and kind of what we're pushing and our messaging there. So
I'm into it. I'm into it.
yeah,
Um, Another thing I've been thinking about, and especially it's very like top of mind for myself, and I think a lot of our mindset members as well, is like, as a marketing network, we're always, I think our viewpoint is like, and as a DAO, you have to adopt AI, otherwise it's kind of be like you use it or get left behind,
yeah,
right? And so as you're thinking, it's kind of ironic, right? Like when marketing agent on Gaia. But I
yeah.
guess for you, as you're going through your day to day, as I mean, you're a super busy guy right now. I think there's a lot of stuff happening. There's big announcements coming up. How are you using? Do you have like a marketing stack? That like an AI marketing stack, I guess.
No, no, we
Or how do you
just
think about?
again,
Yeah,
we fly by the seat of our pants every day. We just roll the dice. We just figure it
yeah.
out. No, you problem solve. No, we are actually building one. I think there are going to be there are tools that we are identifying and kind of developing that will enhance
Oh,
marketing. I think
yeah.
and, just ideas right now. They're in
Hmm.
but we identified that there are valuable tools that are not out there yet that we can either be a part of or we can build that will enhance marketing, especially for Gaia. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's not lost to me that there are some things that especially that would, again, the tools that would actually really that we can build that can really enhance marketing and can help with that, like I mentioned earlier, that kind of larger kind of getting the Web 2, the old world, to buy in. And I think
Yeah.
that there's some tools there that we can build
Oh,
specifically. I'm not going to say
yeah.
promise or say what it is, or again, everything's kind of in development phase, but I
Yeah.
do see that there are going to be things built in the future that will help with that marketing side of things.
I love it. You're
As I
speaking
trail
in
off,
code,
you
but I
could,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think
Keep
it's
it mysterious.
yeah, it's it may sound mysterious, but yeah, I don't like to promise stuff, but I think there
Yeah.
are things that we are building that and that will be built
Yeah.
using Gaia that
Yeah.
will definitely help with marketing and branding. And then again, it's not the goal is not to kind of be efficient, but it's really to understand our markets
Hmm.
better and again,
Mm.
really communicate as clearly as possible to not only our industry and the
Yeah.
Web3 side of things, but to the, as I like to say, the old world. So yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Well, and so then that's an interesting thing too, because as you're thinking about devs and builders, um,
yeah.
yeah, and DevRel, I guess, and the marketing against that.
Mhm.
How have you guys been marketing? I guess it's more just between the Web 2 and the Web 3 devs, right? I think
Mhm.
there's a conversation that I forget who it was with this, but it was this week. I talked to someone about it, and I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, the amount of Web 3 devs is kind of shrinking, if anything, right? So,
Yeah.
how have you guys been thinking about that? How's the reception been from? Because I think you guys, because you're at the intersection of AI and crypto, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure there are people coming in that just want to focus on AI, and they're like, well, what do I need? So have you also found that to be a thing that starts to happen? It's like someone will come in, they just want to own
Yeah.
their own model, and they're like, oh, I can do crypto stuff with it. Like, what's crypto? And then they fall down the rabbit hole. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're interacting with Guy, you have a really solid understanding of crypto,
Mm,
blockchain
yeah.
technology. You're not just kind of like jumping in and going, hey, let's build this
Yeah.
thing. What is it? Wait, what is this thing over here? Blockchain.
Okay, so already someone
Yeah,
who's already
yeah,
deep in it.
no, yeah, and so it doesn't mean they have to be this,
Yeah.
they have to be in the space for too long, but they have an understanding of what crypto is and how blockchain. We're able to kind of implement blockchain into a lot of this living knowledge network, as I like to say, and that all the information, all the knowledge that we're is everything is on blockchain. I think. I think there's a challenge where the challenge is actually getting, again, a lot of these Web2 builders to actually understand the value there. But for me, if you're not, from my kind of interpretation of everything, if you're not
Yeah.
thinking about, if you're a serious developer and you're not thinking about building AI tools and you're not thinking about decentralization of these tools,
Yeah.
you're really
Not gonna
kind
make
of
it.
you're not going to make it. You're not really, you've retired. You're
Let's
not
just
even
be
part of the
honest.
industry anymore. There's a and again, I can't speak to
Yeah.
the actual mindset of a lot of builders, but yeah, you need to be on the cutting edge here and
Yeah.
to actually succeed and fulfill these kind of these goals of building, of actually creating something, right?
Are you guys doing anything? I think what's also interesting is, as we talk about AI and all this, is like the rise of vibe coding, right? And, it's something I've been doing personally a lot. I just had a conversation with someone else in the marketing space who built a really incredible Telegram. But I'll give him a shout out, Paul from Marketing Down, and now he's at Bondex, which is like a
Okay.
Web3 learning network. But he built and completely vibe coded like a Telegram bot called Collabroom. That's just like, it's a Telegram bot and it just facilitates collabs. I'm curious about if that's an audience that you guys are thinking about at all, or if you guys are still very much just focused on like the people who are like deep in it. And then maybe eventually you get there, but it feels like a big opportunity basically to kind of like, again, grow the pie,
Yeah.
bring in more people, be like, hey,
Yeah.
here's our whole framework. We already loaded the context in for you.
Yeah.
So now all you can do is just vibe code and play with it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we want to enable everybody to
Yeah.
participate and create. I think we want to get to a point where anyone can build an agent and anyone has the
Yeah.
tools to build an agent. I think right now we're seeing that people are able to kind of play with the tools and kind of, it's just not for a specific subset,
Yeah.
of builders, that anyone could go in and build a Telegram bot using
Yeah.
our inference tooling and so on. So, um, you know, I'm hoping that, and I'm seeing that we're seeing that this is starting to take off. That people will start to, if it's just the vibe coder, as you like to say, if and pardon me, I every day there's new terminology in the space. I kind of show, it's sad. I show my age very, very quickly, which sucks because I'm trying to stay young, but
You learn something
man,
new every day. You will
every
be vibe
day
coding.
I go, damn it, I sound like an old man
Yeah.
here. But we want to,
And there's
again, going
vibe
back to,
marketing now, by the way.
I
There's
know
like,
listen, I also was working in the NFT boom. There was I remember companies hiring director of vibes and going, wow,
yes,
this
I
is
remember.
if that wasn't a clear
Top signal. Yeah.
indicator of a bubble,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, going back, I think again, we want to make sure that whether you're a casual kind of builder or someone that has a great idea and you just want to start
Yeah.
getting start, or someone that's really wants to build this kind of larger, whatever, however, tooling or brand rather. We want to make sure that we can service both, and again, eventually to get to the point where anyone that has a general understanding can build something or
Hmm.
create and so on. So
I'm into it.
yeah, again, brought to you by
We
Crystal Geyser here. So
gotta stay hydrated, man. You're busy right now. So
hydrated, man.
we're,
Yeah, exactly.
I still remember, I'm much older now, but when I was in sixth grade, it still rings with me. My teacher, Mr. Chase, shout out to him. He one day he just came in, he had a giant like jug of water that he was like chugging, and he
Uh,
stripped the label off, and he's like, "You know what this is?" And I was like, "What? It's water, it's water." He's like, "No." he turned it around and he wrote brain juice. It's like
Brain juice.
stay
That's pretty
hydrated. I was like,
solid.
brain
That's
juice.
solid. It's so
Yeah,
funny being in public and seeing
yeah,
people that have or being in a setting where someone has a jug like that,
yeah.
and them just like talking, then they go like this, and then take this big jug, and you're just like, what? It's a little awkward, but power. Shout out to the people that really overhydrate. So
Brain juice. Yeah,
brain
have
juice,
to use the
exactly.
restroom every 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All
Yeah.
right. We are starting to come up on time, so I think
Hmm.
just a couple more questions and then rapid fire, and
Sure. Yeah,
we'll
let's
we'll
do it.
call it there. But I guess the last two things are more around just like community.
Mhm.
So I think for Gaia, how are you guys thinking about the community, cultivating community, IRL stuff, if that's been a priority at all? Does everyone live
Yeah.
on Discord? Do people hang out on Telegram? Gaia meetups? You know,
Yeah.
yeah, we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, we a shout out to our man who's Ian, who is head of our
Mhm.
ecosystem and community. We're really focusing on again enabling and informing our community, and they've done an incredible job at building a lot of our social channels, Discord, and Telegram, and so on. But we also have these IRL kind of events. We're really at these larger crypto, having a presence at these larger crypto events. We are going to have a presence at ETH Berlin, ETHCC. We were just at Biddle Asia. Having a presence at these events and being able to kind of spread the gospel of Gaia and the value of Gaia has really been beneficial. We also have an ambassador program that we're currently in the
Cool.
process of kind of building kind of a rebrand
Mhm.
there, but we've had this successful ambassador program so far, and it's growing. Where we have we're pushing a global presence, for instance, different types of
Ah,
markets,
yeah.
several kind of South American kind of events, Africa, Korea, and so on. And so we're really finding that people are really interested in Gaia and really push again, kind of spreading the word and demonstrating the value
Ooh.
across all these markets. So again, shout out to my guy Ian, who's really really spearheading a lot of these initiatives. And again, it's great to walk into an event, say ETH Denver, and be the
Mhm.
belle of the ball,
Yeah.
and be the and really have people really wanting to kind of interact with us and build with us. So
You guys have been doing great stuff. Yeah.
really it's refreshing, and I'm glad people are catching on to not only Gaia but to the potential of what this industry can provide, and so on. So
Oh yeah. It's coming.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
great to hear about the ambassador program. I think
yeah,
I think it's something that's so underrated, I think,
yeah,
because like for any good marketer, right? Like virality, word of mouth, like that's the ultimate. If you can get that right,
yeah,
that pays for itself 10 times over. And especially in global
100%.
markets, I think, we're thinking about LATAM quite a bit. We're already in Korea and stuff. And
Yeah,
a lot of opportunities in other markets. So
yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's really great seeing you know the the effect of like an ambassador program, hosting events, IRL events, and then seeing in that region nodes being spun up and people participating in their network as a direct effect.
yeah,
It's really refreshing, and it validates a lot of the efforts we're putting into that. So
beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
All right. We last one, and then we'll go to rapid fire. And this one's pretty
Okay.
straightforward, which is really just
Yeah.
what's coming up next for Gaia, right?
Oh boy.
What's on the horizon, the roadmap, as much as you can disclose, I guess, to get people excited. What should they be
Listen,
thinking about? What's coming? Yeah.
yeah, we have to bring you into the circle of trust before I kind of
Yeah.
we are kind of again expanding our network. Every day we're kind of onboarding developers. It's really interesting. It's really great again to see the mass adoption or the larger adoption
Mhm.
of what we're building. As if you we hit 400,000 nodes within our
Mhm.
network. We're getting very close to 500,000 we've nodes. So that expanding and kind of fostering this kind of community, this larger ecosystem is definitely just overall what we're building. But we have some interesting kind of both Web3 and Web2 projects. Again, not being too vague, but just being
Yeah.
just teasing everything. But we have some incredible announcements coming up that I think, again, will really kind of be that bridge and kind of give people a better understanding of the industry as a whole and what we're, how we, how Gaia fits into that and the possibilities of what we're building. So again, being vague, but I will.
Sometimes you just gotta,
just don't worry. We're
guessing.
teasing it, just giving people breadcrumbs. But please stay tuned because we have some really exciting things coming down the pipeline.
As a great man once said, nobody knows what it means, but it gets the people going.
No, again, if I go, I think if I went too deep, and this is this is a marketer's, and this is the challenge. It's like if you really start to really dig in and get really detailed about what we're building, sometimes we could lose people, and so it's just kind of and it's funny again going back to the trying to onboard Web2 people. If if you start talking about DAI, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So I like to just kind of ease into it and not be vague, but also just make sure people general understanding what we're doing first.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really great conversation. Let's get into one of my favorite rounds, which is rapid fire. So we've done this with pretty much every guest. We've been running this kind of podcast. I think we're in our third season now, and these questions have pretty much remained the same. So pumped to get into it. Well, let's kick it off. So what do you think is the most underrated marketing tactic in Web3 right now?
Well, listen, before we get into this rapid fire, I'm going to seem like a big shot and push my next meeting a bit. So just pardon me.
Thank you.
I am not to say I want to jump off and end this conversation quickly, but listen, I'm a very important guy and I got a lot of stuff cooking. So no,
perfect.
I think underrated marketing tactic right now. It's not like I said, actually slowing down just a little bit and actually understanding your audience and building out a fully fleshed brand strategy. That seems old world, but we're moving so fast in Web3 and no one really stops for a second and goes, hey, wait a second. Again, who are we, what we're doing, and who are we speaking to? What's our value? What's our benefit? No one, people kind of lose sight of that and don't focus on that. So I think that actually applying a lot of these, the basics in Web2 marketing first, that is an underrated, again, everyone has a great idea. Everyone has a great project. But if you don't get those foundational elements of who you are and understand that, you're not going to succeed. It's going to be too late.
I do agree. It's very underrated. And I think actually you're the first person to say that. So extra points for
there we go. There we go.
Let's go.
It's again, I like to simplify things and distill it down to the messaging as simple as possible. There's a movie I love called Margin Call.
Just watched that a month ago.
Margin Call. There's a great scene and it's hilarious, but it actually I always use this line. There's Jeremy Irons plays a guy. There's a financial crisis. There's this big meeting at the end, towards the end of the movie, where they have to explain the impending financial crisis. And this big shot, the Jeremy Irons character flies in. And he says to the quant, goes, listen, speak to me as if I'm a golden retriever. And while that, obviously is not the most ideal way to say things, that's how I like to kind of speak to people, speak about something, just simplify things and also receive information. Just give me the basics there, top level stuff, then we can break things down. And I say that because I bring that example because that no one sees that when they're marketing in Web3. They go straight into this is what we're doing, and they lose a great deal of audience.
It's a lot of features. That's like the number one problem we all have, and it's the first job that pretty much every crypto marketer has to deal with is dealing with technical founders. To be like, it's not about the features, guys. Like, what are you bringing?
Exactly. So
we yell it every day, and nobody listens, and so we got to yell it again.
Exactly.
All right, let's try and breeze through these next three, so we can get your meeting on time. But
no, it's okay. Big shot. Remember.
Next one Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Worst marketing advice. So we're just gonna flip it around. So what's the worst marketing advice you've seen people pushing
Uh,
right now?
I think just push out a token. Let's just push out a token. Let's
Yeah,
just, or let's just get the thing done. Again, let's just announce. Let's just get our project out there, and hopefully people figure it out and see the value and utility. And so it's
yeah,
again, slow it down just a little bit. And I think listen, the NFT boom is a great example.
yeah.
Let's just get the thing out. Okay, what is the value, or
We don't
why?
know.
We don't know, but just do
Okay,
it.
let's go.
Fuck it,
Let's do
let's
it.
go. Okay. You know what? And I think that people who take that marketing advice or have, again, these
Yeah,
projects flounder. So
that's how it goes. Rug pulls all day, baby.
yeah,
Let's hope
yeah.
it'll change. Maybe coming soon. We'll see.
I think,
Yeah,
again, it'll get there,
yeah. Perfect,
so
perfect. All right, last two.
no problem.
Which crypto brands or projects do you think are crushing it? And well, I guess like
Ye-
DAI. You know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think if you heard of a company called Gaia, I think they're crushing it.
Exactly.
No, I think, base is interesting. I've been
Yeah.
in base for a while, and I think we have a really great kind of partnership, or however you
Yeah.
want to, or just kind of like relationship with base.
They
I
have their
think
whole agent kit that they just rolled out.
they
Yeah.
just, yeah, I think they're, I know they had, as of last week, had a little bit of controversy, but I think they're really building something. Uh,
Yeah.
they, they rapid ascent of
Yeah.
of that, an L2 like base. It's just been
You got to give
phenomenal.
them props for
Obviously,
that. Yeah.
listen, the brand is Coinbase, obviously, but I have to give props to them. They're really building something and building kind of, again, this kind of infrastructure for builders. So I think for us, that is a kind of a great example of
Yeah.
what can be built. You know,
What can be built? Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts to have about that, but yes, I agree. You got
but
to give
yeah,
them props.
I think I have to kind of give them props again. What's really people were using it for meme tokens at first,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
become something else, right? And so that's been the discovery, and now so yeah, I think, in my personal
I
opinion, I
love it.
think they're crushing it. So yeah,
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, last thing, and last one. This is my favorite
sure,
one actually, which is and this one's more
yeah,
introspective, which is I think looking back, on your journey, I guess within Web3 and crypto,
yeah.
what's your kind of like biggest professional learning thing you wish you had known, looking back? Hindsight's 2020, but you have the battle scars. So looking back on
Oh
it now,
boy,
yeah,
yeah. I thought I
what's your
had battle
biggest lesson?
scars from the being in producing. And but no, this is a whole nother type. I think, for over the past couple years, you know, if you, it's been really a challenge to, or my challenge. I wish I knew better. Is that people, you need to, like, they have no idea about what anyone's building,
Mm,
and
yeah,
that's like, you can't go into it and be like, assume that like people have been. This is like a Shopify, or like you're building,
yeah,
people. If you're building something like a marketplace, you can't assume that people are going to are using a marketplace because they use a Shopify, or
yeah.
eBay or so on. I think that for me, it's like, at first I'm like, oh, people understand it, they get it. We're building a product that, it's going to be easy kind of connection to our audience, and that's not the case. It's, you really have to do your research. You really have to
Mm,
really, really understand, and constantly adapt and constantly be ahead of the curve on in Web3, and AI especially. And so I think that's something I didn't understand at first. So yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
now I
important.
do, and
Assume
now I
nobody
do.
knows anything.
Assume no one. Assume that you're not going to get a lot of Web2 folks
Yeah,
over immediately just because you have something cool. It's really, it's a graduate. It's We're all kind of like in this phase where it's discovery, and we'll get there. into this larger mass adoption for any type of Web3 project. But right now, we're kind of like in this. We're kind of in this. We're pitching to our own people basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we got to start somewhere. So hopefully,
Yeah,
eventually, we
exactly.
can cross the chasm.
Yeah, but again, battle scars, but it's all worth it. And I think again, as last thing I'll say is, we in Gaia, but also in general, we will all we'll get to that point. But
Yep.
right now, it's just developing this kind of messaging with and to our own folks in Web3. So,
Well, I'm excited. I think there's a lot there. Bullish on you
yeah,
guys, what you're building. I think the mission is powerful. I think the brand is strong, and I think there's a
yeah.
lot coming. So
There's
good work.
some
Yeah,
good stuff coming. So I appreciate it.
yeah,
Bringing me on here. This is great.
yeah. Thanks so much, Ryan. This was great. One last thing, which is, I guess,
No problem.
what's the call to action? If people are listening to this, should they go to the website? Should they go to Twitter? How can they find you? How
Yeah,
can they find Gaia? Yeah,
yeah. We have a great Twitter presence. Please visit our site, and you can start building right away. And I think that's
mhm,
really the key here. If you have the means and you know what kind of like the basics, you can start. Go to our website, go to our docs, and start building. We have some great demos. We have a great DevRel team, and like I said, a really growing community. And yeah, participate, please. I
exciting.
think that's a good, yeah. Get started right now. Drop
Just
everything.
start right now.
Get to guy. No, yeah, but we're enabling people to again start building right away and getting started. So
I'm into it. And it's GaiaNet.ai is the URL, correct? Yeah,
GaiaNet.ai
yeah,
and again visit us on Twitter.
yeah,
We are fortunate enough to have these kind of uh, announcements every day and kind of
yeah.
demos and everything and discussions that will really draw you in and give you a greater understanding of what we're doing.
All right. Well, let's go build the future. Let's go. Maybe I'll dive in later today and see if I
Hell
can
yeah,
get my
you
head started.
better. Come on, man. Come on, get
I've
with
been
the program,
procrastinating
Blake. No, I'm just
I
no.
need help. Yeah.
Yeah, no, all good, all good. But yeah, thanks again for having me
All
on. I
right.
appreciate this.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Ryan. This was really fun. Bullish on you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
So yeah. All
thanks
right.
again.
Have a good
See
one.
ya.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.